Chips? Unmute.
Yo! This is show. Hello! Mga kaibigan. Hello, friends!
Test. Audio test. Can you hear us?
Okay. I'm hearing you well.
The people, can you hear us?
I think so.
Good
morning.
Good
morning sa tanan. Good morning sa tanan.
Shout out, Tinchen. No? Sige, shout out na kaagad natin yan. Hello.
Germany. Guten Tag. Hoy, meron akong i-greet. Teka ha. Alamin natin nga kung sino itong mga to. Okay, here. Meron tayong mga kaibigan kanina nakausap. Yung worshipful master ng Beverly Hills Lodge number 528 of the Grand Lodge of California ng Free and Accepted Masons. Si worshipful master Abi John Agad, Pilipino pare. Worshipful master.
Magandang gabi po dyan.
Sana makahabol to sila kasi sabi sila na manonood pero mukhang hindi ako makaasa doon dahil nakainom na kanina pa lang. Gabi ata doon sa kanila. So they were having fun. Tumawag sa akin itong brad natin, si Brother Jules Allegro. Kilala mo si Jules, di ba?
I'm not sure. Okay. I don't remember.
So si Brother Jules ay nasa US and then they're now members of the Beverly Hills Lodge. Alam mo ba itong Beverly Hills Lodge?
Teka muna, maganda ba daw? Maganda. Tingnan mo muna.
Oh, Judy. Hi, Judy. Watching from HK. Yeah.
Ito, maganda ba daw? Maganda rin yan. Maganda.
Ano yan? Bakit Puro lyrics ba? Sino ba nandiyan? Gandang gabi. Okay. Watching from Japan. Alright. So itong Beverly Hills Lodge ay 100 years na pala, no? 100 years old. And maniwala ka sa hindi, tinayo yan ng mga Amerikano. At ang mga miyembro niyan ngayon ay 95% puro Pilipino.
Awesome!
Yung mga mason na Amerikano, sinakop ang bansa natin, sinakop natin yung lohiya nila sa Amerika. Yes!
Organisasyon nila.
Yung lohiya. Alam niyo ba yun, si William McKinley at yung presidente na nag-utos na sakupin tayo, mason yun.
Maganda.
Si Arthur MacArthur, mason yun ang Governor General. Si Jose Rizal, mason din yun. Silang
yes, si ano ba?
Hi nga,
sino
Sir JP.
Yung taga-Cavite.
Si Emilio?
Aguinaldo.
Mason din yun. No? Si Bonifacio, mason din. Ito. Sige. Mason rin. Sino to si Rocky?
Maganda.
Sino to si Rocky? Maganda ba to si Rocky? Hi, Gail.
Tingnan natin.
Rocky.
Maganda to.
Manny.
Maganda sila dati. Bakit
maganda sila? Alam mo, yung mga Pilipino, maganda tayong lahi. We are very...
Ito ang pinakamaganda. Tingnan mo. What?
655, ano yan? Nag-isang kapalan. Teka. May mga pinadala ko sa iyo sa Messenger.
Saan na?
Sa Messenger. Sa Messenger, sabi mo.
Sure, okay.
So one by one.
Salita ka muna.
Kasi Saturday ngayon. It's a Saturday Live. So ang title natin ngayon is Saturday Late Night Show. Ayan. Late Night Live. Kaya meron tayo dapat parang recap ba for the week kasi sorry pala kahapon hindi kami nakapag-live kahapon dahil sa miscommunication. Hoy, pumunta ako sa iyo nakaalis ka na. Hindi, I didn't know what time kasi. So I'm so sorry to all of our friends out there waiting for our broadcast yesterday. Nagkaroon kami ng miscommunication ni attorney and yan. Ganun talaga.
Guys.
Kasalanan ko. Siyempre, I accept. Walang problema.
Ah,
Alam mo,
ah,
yeah.
I don't, I
Alam mo
don't, I
naman
don't.
tayo ay mga kapag wala ka kasing yun, wala kang tinatago, wala kang gustong protektahan na kahit anong interest. Pag nagkamali,
Amin.
apologize.
Amin agad.
Apologize. Apologize. Yun yung pinakamaganda.
Teka,
Bill Adha
i-share
pala.
ko muna.
Oy, sa lahat ng ating mga kapatid, ano bang yung may
Assalamualaikum.
mubarak. Assalamualaikum and very, very nangigisawin
Papaliwanag ko muna kaya kung ano ibig sabihin niya, no?
Yan, please, 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 please.
Paliwanag ko. Sige, paliwanag ko muna, no? Sige. Itong
Sino ba ito
Eid,
sinaki mo?
itong Eid al-Adha
Mm.
ay ang tinatawag niya Festival of the Holy Sacrifice sa tatawag? Holy Sacrifice or
Is this the start or the end?
right?
Start
Simula
or the
ka
end?
na.
Ng
Simula.
Ramadan. Ng Ramadan.
Simula.
Okay, start. Okay.
Ang ibig sabihin niyan ay Feast of the Sacrifice. At ito yung sacrifice ni Ibrahim ng kanyang anak na si Ishmael. Tama, si Ishmael.
Sa Kristiyano at saka sa Jewish Bible ay
Si Abraham at
and
and sino yung anak niya?
Jacob. Sino ba yung ba yung
Yung
i-sacrifice?
ino-offer, yung hinihingi ng Diyos sa kanya. Sige, kung I will test you, I will if you are loyal to me, offer your
child
son in
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 the-
sacrifice. Nilagay niya kanya doon sa sacrifice mound at susugugin na sana niya. Doon naintindihan ni Allah o di kaya ng Yahweh, yung Diyos ng mga Kristiyano,
Okay.
Hebreo, pinadala na lang siya ng si Ibrahim o si Abraham ng tupa. Siya na lang siya na lang yung in-offer.
Baka
Yan
daw.
yung ibig sabihin nito.
Baka.
Okay?
Okay.
Sige,
Isaac daw, Isaac, hindi Abraham, Isaac.
Isaac. Hindi si Jacob.
Hindi si
Si Isaac yung anak. Hindi, yung anak yung i-offer na si Isaac.
Hindi, si Isaac yung mag-offer. Tama
Hindi,
ba?
si Ibrahim. Si Ibrahim, Abraham.
Si Jacob yung bata, di ba mga friends, no? Si Jacob. I'm sure you heard about the killing of PM Ahmed. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So, man, we will post some pictures. We will start with what picture? For tonight.
Okay. Ipapost ko na itong sa'yo.
Isaac, okay, to whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. Moriah. Hanap na kaya nila yung Mount Moriah.
Ito na.
Magkaya ka. My beautiful daughter.
Hi.
Yep.
Ito. Ito ba?
Okay, simulan muna tayo dito. No? What can you... This is okay. Marcos accepts the invitation to visit China. A lot of people will be discussing this as the days will come near kasi alam mo, yung mga state visit, this will probably be the first, no? Yung mga state visit. May mga bit-bit yan na tsulalay, kuno. Tapos magiging issue yan kasi isang eroplano, mahal, magastos. Then, tatanungin yung mga tao, sino yung mga kasama ng presidente dyan? Libre ba yan? May mga bayad ba yan? Alala mo yan? Junket yan Yun, so...
Sino yung katabi mo?
My daughter.
Si Erin. Erin. Hello.
Hi, Tatiana. Cute talaga yan. Kaya nga gusto kong Hi, Royce. Isa. Abraham is the father and Isaac is the son. Ayun, no?
Yan.
Wala tayo, mahina tayo sa Bible history. So anyway, so every president merong pinipili yan ng mga state visit. Anong kahalaga ng state visit?
Bisaya min duha bay, Bisaya min duha.
Bisaya min duha. Unsa may nakagwapo na state visitor ni?
State visit, amo to eh.
Ha?
Ambot mo.
Oh, state visit. So ang state, pwede ba yung mag-visit? Hindi naman, di ba? O mag-visit siya sa isang state. Ano bang ibig sabihin nun?
Sa isang state, yung receiving
so,
state, yung state doon.
Okay, so ang nagbi-visit is head of state going to a state. Tama ba yun? Kaya sinasabing state visit.
Yeah.
Okay. Parang Boracay trip, pag sinabi mo Boracay trip, pupunta ka sa Boracay. No?
Right.
Aha. So Manong C ay i-host niya ang ating presidente. And you remember, tatay ni BBM, di ba naalala mo ng 1974? Naalala mo ba yun? Na nagkaroon sila ng pagkakaintindihan ni Chairman Mao.
Mao Zedong.
Yes, 1974 yan. Na noong 1972 lang ay si Chairman Mao din mismo ang nagpapadala ng armas para kay Jom Asison. At magmula noon ay wala na, kinalimutan na si Joma, pero si Joma sa kanyang pagsusulat, the valiant leader of the pa rin siya hanggang siya wala na. Etchapwera si Joma. Bakit? Kasi peke. Peke. Oh, sabi ni
kasi siya.
Peke. Oh, yun. So, China, here we come. Why is this important? Importante ang China na makausap para mag-establish ng yung pinangako yan ni BBM, di ba? Pinangako niya about China. Makipag-usap. Tama ba?
Yes.
Ikaw, tapos ano bang yan, validity ng mga ganyang usapan ito? In international law, ano turo ni Harry Roque sa inyo yan?
Well, yung mga usapan na ganyan is ceremonial. Pero yung mga policies na mapag-uusapan nila and then later on implement, they are well within the power of the president as the head of the executive and the head of state.
May mga trade, usapang trade.
Well, karamihan trade, and then yung I don't know about China, but most other countries yung domestic yung ating labor and domestic labor.
Domestic workers, no?
Doon sa kanila, home workers.
Yung mga kalagayan noon, yung mga negotiation. Pero tama ba yung description na yung ating mga bansa, okay, mukha siyang very, very strict and very, very structured inside each country, pero among themselves, wala silang structure. Para silang magkapitbahay na nasa jungle. Okay? Do you think that is the correct description ng relasyon ng mga bansa na parang kung tayo na nasa loob ng bansa ay puno ng strukturang batas, ganon, social structures, ganon. Pero among themselves, as countries interacting, it's like a jungle there with no rules of the game except gentlemanly engagements or gentlemanly behavior. Ha? Ano sa palagay mo?
Mahigpit ang international law. Yung hindi kasi yan kasama sa international law, strictly speaking. Yung mga pag-meeting ng mga ganyan-ganyan, kita-kita sila, bisita-bisita, that is foreign foreign relations as a general umbrella concept. And international law is just part of that because international law is actually public international law yung buong concept. Meaning yan yung mga rules and customs and mga regulations that states must follow as sovereigns. Meron kasi ding private international law. Yung mag-govern ng halimbawa, may dalawang may isang Canadian, may isang Amerikano nagpakasal sa Pilipinas. So those are three domestic laws in the fray, di ba? Silang tatlo ngayon kung alin ang mag mag-rule sa kanilang marriage. So that is a private international law because a marriage is a private matter and not a matter of the sovereign or the state. So that's another body of laws under international relations. There's also the diplomatic relations international law, private international law, public international law, and diplomatic relations. Iba rin yun. Kasi yun naman yung parang secretariat, parang staff ng body na involved dito sa public international law. So exchange of communications and all that stuff. As well as the private international law side. So itong embassies, ganyan, dalawa yung functions nila. Isa sa private international law at isa rin sa public international law. So medyo
And there's the commercial, commercial pa.
Oo, yung commerce. Tapos may labor din, yung mga attachés natin. But those are part of a diplomatic, well, not strictly part, but they are just one and the same category of people na parang staff sila to handle the dealings of a state and another sovereign state. Parang ganyan.
Okay, so sana BBM is already recovered by this time, no? And we hope for the president's quick recovery para itong trip na to. By the way, it's not always going to end up nice. Si Noynoy Aquino, if you will remember, when he went there, kulang na lang ay sipain siya sa palabas ng kanilang usapan. Dahil sa nag-insist siya na paalisin yung mga Chinese dun sa yan, dyan sa
Scarborough Shoal.
Yeah.
Scarborough
Okay,
Shoal.
next. What's next?
Next na? Wait.
Yeah. Kasi mga friends natin dyan, hi, and merong will know everything, especially secret Nichurianes. Wala na yan, alam na natin yan. Ano yun?
Wait,
bakit may
lang.
yun? Kala ko
Guguluhan ako
yun. Uy, la. Yan.
Maganda Princess Eureka.
Mawing Bay. You know everything, especially yung secret ni Trillanes. Alam mo yung secret ni Trillanes.
Ito ba yan? Tinutukoy mo? Ito ba yan? Susunod? Ito ba yan?
Hala! Magandang gabi mga friends.
Patay na naman ang demokrasya niyan.
Wala na. Ay, nako. What can you say about this, my friends? Filipino Nobel Prize winner Maria Ressa loses appeal against conviction for cyber libel. This is the Court of Appeals case. Tama, attorney?
Yes.
Tama ba ako? Hindi pa to Supreme Court, no?
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa to Supreme Court. Okay.
So she has an opportunity to take the case to the Supreme Court in 60 days.
Okay. And ang maganda niyan, malaman natin kung anong grounds. Taka. Ano ha ba
Hindi ko pa nakikita yung decision yung resolution.
Hindi ko nakikita. Punta ko. Hanapan ko kung anong grounds. Baka grave abuse.
Ang haba niyan. Ngayon pa lang natin babasahin. We have to study that before we take it to the people.
Take it to the people. Yun, so why is this important? Una, cyber libel ang kaso dito. Hindi yung ordinaryong libel dati. So cyber libel means she did or she committed the libel using the internet as the platform for that crime. And yung kanyang biktima nito, or this act happened in, when was this? 2014? Tama ba ako?
I'm not sure now.
Basta may kinalaman to nung mga panahon na ini-impeach si Corona. Tama?
Thereabouts.
Yan. So, yung biktima niyan was a private businessman na hindi siya ordinaryong private businessman. In fairness, one of the rich people lang, but she was trying to link that person to nefarious criminal activities. And then, parang, not she, but the reports in
Outfit.
the reports that she carried, kasi siya ang publisher, kasi di ba yung publisher is also liable.
Impleaded.
Oo.
Sila.
So yung,
Usually, ang kakasuhan mo, kung magkakaso ka ng
paano nga ba yung libel na yan?
Yeah. Kakasuhan mo yung dalawa, yung reporter at saka o journalist at saka yung publisher kasi mas maraming pera yung publisher. Mas maraming pera
okay. So siya ang role niya is as publisher, not as reporter, tama?
As publisher in this case.
And I think for her editorial functions also, dahil mayroon siyang karapatan to actually edit that, fix that. Diba? So, hindi nila talaga ginawa. Despite the plea nung abogado nung plaintiff, no? Na nagbigay sila ng maraming pagkakataon na, batanggalin nyo lang, hindi kami magkakaso. Ayusin nyo lang, hindi kami magkakaso. Wala eh. Hindi ginawa. So, nung nagkakaso na, ang sabi ng sino yung nagsabi? It's a case of bad lawyering. Si Harry Roque mo, si ano mo. Kasi hindi na dinipensa na maayos si Maria Reza. Kasi, sino yung abogado niya attorney? Yung mga...
Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko na maalala.
Yung mga libre
nakakapagod kasi sundan to siya eh.
Oo, libre ata yung kuno, pero si Theodore T. ang humawak. Sabi niya, kilala mo si Theodore? Theodore?
Si Teddy,
Si Theodore ang kanyang lawyer.
Siya ba ang lawyer sa RTC pa lang?
Oo, kasi parang may grupo yun sila na organization na kuno, parang free lawyers for her. Pero si Theodore T, of all people. Pero sabi ni Harry Roque, if you read the case, nung in-interview talaga si Harry Roque, layo kay Trixie, no? Si Trixie magaling magsabi ng, that is actually not our filing in Congress. So, don't ask us. That's their right to file bills in Congress. Natawa ako dun. Tapos, ma'am, don't you think this is not the right time? Parang gusto ko rin sabihin, don't you think you should stop asking if you don't think it's the right time? Anyway, so si Theodore T, sabi ni Harry Roque, as spokesperson, nung in-interview siya about this case, it's a case of bad lawyering. Naku, magkasama pa naman silang professor sa UP Law.
Sinong magkasama? Sinari.
No, di ba? Nag-aabutan yun doon. Isipin mo, sabihan ka na, it's a case of bad lawyering. Oo nga, pero it really is. Grabe, hindi niya dinipensahan. Di murder of evidence sa akin, parang ginawa niya.
Ano yan? Yung magdi-demur ka kasi.
Hindi
siya magpresent ng evidence.
Hindi.
Pagkatapos nagpresenta yung prosecution, siya, depensa, sila, yung lawyer at saka si Maria Reza, ganyan, wala, mahina to. Magpaalam tayo na hindi na tayo mag-file. Sorry. I'll just clarify. Hindi naman talaga siguro demurrer in the technical sense, but parang ganun. Halos wala talaga siyang ginawang depensa. So more like demurrer na hindi demurrer. So sabi nga ni Gary, it's a case of bad lawyering, mga kaibigan. TDT na naman. Si TDT, hahaha. Wala na panalong kaso kahit DQ cases, hahaha. Yun. At pagkatapos nun, sabi ni Maria Reza, nagising ako nun eh. Your rights, better check your rights because your rights will now be parang this freedom of the press is the foundation of all rights. Wala, napaisip ako. Takbo ko sa Sino nagsabi niya?
Si Maria Reza, nung araw na natalo siya sa kaso na yon. maganda yung sinabi niya noon na parang, alam mo yun, bullshit. Sorry. Wala talagang basis in fact and in law or in theory ng freedom of the press and
Basahin
information.
mo.
Yan.
Ewan
Maria
ko kung
Ressa
totoo yan, ha? Ewan ko kung
didn't
totoo
even
yan.
attend a single court hearing of her case. Probably kasi she didn't have to. Meron siyang lawyer. And
Well, no. That's wrong. Sa criminal case, the accused must attend every hearing.
but as publisher, ganun din. Di ba vicarial lang yung kanyang liability?
No. Accused din siya dyan. She is accused as herself, as the publisher. Hindi yun siya inakusahan in lieu of the journalist. Hindi.
Mhm.
Silang dalawa ang dinimanda each with a charge of libel.
Ang yun
Mm.
Oh,
So,
pero
kailangan niyang, kung ngayon yan nangyari, kailangan niyang sumipot araw-araw. Otherwise, a warrant of arrest will be issued against her. A bench warrant ang tawag doon.
from the Court of Appeals? O meron pa siyang...
Ewan ko kung ano nung tinutukoy nito. I'm not really sure if this is true or not na nag-attend siya ng court. Wala siyang pinuntahang court hearing. I'm not sure. I
Dun
do
sa
not know
dun sa
the
trial.
facts there.
I'm sure this is not true because she was there during the promulgation. Hindi naman hearing yun. Tama ka rin naman. Pero she was
Hindi
there.
yun kasama sa hearing.
Pero
Yun nga, let's just not consider it as a fact. Parang okay, opinion, and then we just don't know if it's true or not.
okay, so para lang hindi natin makalimutan yung circumstances nito So the act happened in the time of Pinoy, and the act was the act of cyber libel was connected to the Corona impeachment. And then so parang nililink nila tong isang businessman to be connected with
Mr.
Corona.
King.
Yeah, to be connected
Mr.
with
King.
Huwag na natin siyang i-libel. To be connected with Corona umano. And then sabi daw sa kanyang sources from the US Secret Service, ano yun? US
CIA yata yung sinasabi.
CIA yung tinutukoy na parang na parang ayon sa aming sources sa CIA. Ito ay so may sources ka sa CIA. Ano kay spy? Anyway.
Tapos ang lawyer niya noon, sino?
Si Theodore.
Sino nga?
Theodore.
Si
Theodore.
Theodore. Naniwala siya na sa kliyente niya na ang source niya ay CIA? Yun, gano'n?
I do not know kung anong depensa niya dun sa pagiging source niya CIA. Because, di ba, you can always prove your claim in a publication if you have sources na it is true. Then they should have brought that CIA agent and testify there about his espionage.
Pero, hindi ko sinasabing ito yung ginawa nila, pero magandang plano yun. Yung sasabihin mo na ang source mo ay CIA kasi hindi mo pwedeng ipatawag yun. Hindi talaga sisipot yun.
Doon yun sa news mismo. Sa item.
Sa news item.
Okay, so this happened during the time of Pinoy. The case was filed in 2015 if I'm not mistaken, before the elections. And when nagkaroon ng decision yung judge, kasalanan na ni Duterte. And wala ng freedom sa Pilipinas. Magandang gabi, walang freedom. Okay, so do you still have freedom, guys? Freedom of the press? Tsaka nakakatawa. Ito yung nakakatawa dun. If you will watch that footage on that day, nagpa-press con siya. Tapos nagsalita siya. Tapos nung inopen na niya for questioning sa mga media na Pilipino, walang may isang nagtanong.
Kasi patay, wala na kasing freedom of the press. So they are play acting.
At dun yung lahat ng reporter, camera, tapos
walang nagtanong.
Nung nagtanong siya, so does anybody have questions after nag-rant siya about the freedom of the press? Walang may isang nagtanong.
Baka hindi nila naintindihan ano yung sinasabi ni Ressa.
Siyempre, mga reporter yun Di alam nila na...
kaya wala nga silang naintindihan dahil reporter
wala talaga
na diba?
Because whatever she said was...
Lawyer stuff yun, di ba? Dapat si
Hindi
Teddy
lang.
Tela nakaintindi nun.
Hindi lang naman lawyer staff, pati naman reporter, naiintindihan naman na hindi totoo yung kanya sinasabi. Na ano?
O, kahit na naintindihan nila na hindi totoo, dapat nagtanong sila, oy, bakit mo pinagsasabihan? Di ba?
Anyway, so nandun na siya sa papunta ng Supreme Court yan. And yun, sa sinabi na nga natin, meron nang nauna sa kanya about cyberlife, which is not the first. And that guy was convicted because of the complaint by Senator Dillon. And then this was about the Iloilo projects na allegedly tinira-tira niya through these platforms na inakusan niya si Dillon ng mga corruption na katiwalian about specific projects. And then, hindi niya mapatunayan ng totoo.
Fake news. Ang
Hindi.
lakas magsabi, no? Ang lakas magsabi ng fake news, eh.
Yun. So, nung hindi niya mapatunayan ng totoo, umakyat hanggang Supreme Court, na-convict siya, na-affirm yung kanyang conviction. Pero the international media never even cared about this guy. Who is this guy again?
When it happened to Maria Ressa, how did they react?
Grabe.
The international media.
Sus, antindi. So, kayo, good evening. International din naman yung audience natin, Sino-sino mga nandito? Sila. Ito ba ito si Rocky Wambu? Sino ba ito si Rocky Wampangko?
Ano yan? Ang alam ko, Sigbin yan, Sigbin.
Sigbin? Hi Sigs. Si Manay 74. Sino to si Manay? And si Ken. Ito si Cheryl. Lagi ito natin kasama. Freedom of the Press. Yung ganda,
Freedom of the Press. Okay.
Maganda yan. Mejorada. Ayun, si Mejorada. Tama yan, si Mejorada. He was the guy who was first convicted and
na-convict.
Yeah, si Mejorada. Iloilo Convention Center, Boy Mejorada na issue. Yes. Shalom from Israel and hi from Hong Kong. Yes.
Ito muna.
Di ba?
Ito muna. Basahin mo.
Medyo off topic at turn. Should we be worried about President Digong after what happened to Shinzo Abe? Yan, sige, ilagay mo nga yung picture natin about Shinzo Abe, attorney. Meron tayo dyan yung lalaking parang tinatake.
Kajot.
So JP, watching from Toronto. Hi! Alam niyo yung mga media bias daw. From Illinois. Yan. Shinzo. Yan. Ito doon yung bumaril, no? Ito yung taon to. No?
So, yan ba? Mukha, hindi.
Hindi. Siya yung alleged na assassin. No? Pero ang nakapagtataka.
Itong nasa ilalim.
Mukhang Secret Service yung mga birada nung isa, di ba? So, we are really sad to hear these kinds of news. Kasi
nagulat ako.
Ano bang silbi nung kanyang ginawa? Di ba? What? Di ba? What will he even gain out of it? Ano yun? Revenge? Di ba? So, ano ang motive ng mga tao talaga para gumawa ng karumal-dumal ng mga bagay? Ay, nako. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Alala mo pa yan, Terne?
Shadow.
The shadow. So, itong si Pogi, gumawa ng sarili niyang baril. Homemade daw. Apparently homemade. Pero sabi ni Japan, that is his claim. Sabi ng police, that is his claim. We will have to investigate that. But it looks like it is handmade. Homemade. Di ba? Galing din ito.
Okay.
Galing ng investigador, ha? That is his claim. We will have to investigate that. But it really looks like it is homemade.
Ang ganda ni Patricia. Tingnan mo. Si Patricia, tingnan mo muna.
Patricia. Patricia Mirasol. Alam mo yung Mirasol. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng Mirasol? Parang
Mira.
Espanyol yun. Mira
Sol
is
is a sun.
and
Sol is a
Mira
sun.
is a reflection of the sun. Ganun, parang ganun. Or the light of the sun. Ano ba yun?
Tanungin natin siya, Patricia. Anong ibig
Patricia,
sabihin ng apelido?
what is Mirasol mean? Cesar Velasco. Motive niya daw ay ayaw niya lang si PM Abe. Hindi naman dapat prime minister yan. So
But he was running. He is running. He's running
Yes.
for another election, I think.
Yeah, for the ano ba, 'di ba kailangan ka munang tumakbo as member of the parliament before you become prime minister, tama?
I think so.
So you have to run muna sa baba. Tama 'yan. So well, it is a loss. He is a loss to the world. He was an exceptional Japanese leader na hindi lang Japan ang tiningnan, but he was very active dito sa affairs na nakakatulong sa security ng Southeast Asia. And he was very vocal din against the Chinese, yung ano nila, mga bickering nila dun sa kanilang side naman ng territorial, ano ba tawag? Territorial issues. So,
Ang sabi ni sunflower daw yung Mirasol. The sunflower is a flower that faces the sun.
Oh, yan yung Spanish ng sunflower? Mirasol. Okay, look at the sun.
Exactly. Because it looks at the sun.
Okay. Nice name. So, si Shinzo Abe ay maraming, maraming mga aid dito sa Pilipinas na pinagawa in his long career. Ano ba yung mga, inabot niya si Pinoy and si Digong, tama ba ako, Tony? Na struggle yung dalawang presidente natin, no? So marami tayong mga projects na bigay ng Japan. Kaya paalam na bossing. Bait to eh. Kita kami nito sa Quiapo nung siya. Oo, si Shinzo Abe. Shinzo Abe. Tessa, that assassin happens to be 41 daw. 41 yan. 41 years old. Military guy. Pero isipin mo, no, kailangan niyang gumawa ng homemade na baril kasi napaka stricto daw ng gun laws ng Japan. So kaya tayo dito sa Pilipinas, tingnan mo, hindi maigpit yung ating gun laws. Hindi rin naman ganun ka stricto pero wala tayong pambili. Kaya kaya mahal. Mahalan mo na lang kasi. O kaya wala tayo ng mga kagaya sa ibang bansa dyan na mga bata binagpapabaril sa eskwelahan. No?
Pero ito pala, hindi pala siya tumatakbo. He's just, he was just giving a speech. He was
campaigning
just giving a speech for someone else. Campaigning for someone.
Because he's quite old. 70 what? 76. Tama ba? So, yung ating mga former presidents, sino lang bang buhay sa mga former presidents natin? Si Ramos, si Gloria, and si Digong. No. Si Pinoy, patay na. At yung mga former presidents, they know how to handle themselves. Tsaka wala naman tayong mga ganyang klaseng mga tao. Yung mga natin, yung mga may konting saya, wala dyan. Wala mga baril. Hindi rin sila namamaril. Kung ngiti-ngiti lang. Iba talaga tayong Pilipino, no? Pati sa mga mga siraulo. Yung mga siraulo natin hindi magulo. Tama ba? Pansin ba yun, attorney? Ano ba yung statistics ng insanity sa ating mga kaso?
I think we are all insane. Hindi lang masyadong halata.
Kaya nga, di ba? Sabi nga ni Rowie, di ba? If the insane has their moments of sanity, the sane also have their moments of insanity.
Yes.
Erap, Joseph Estrada is still around. Yes. Still kicking and
Mayor. Hindi pa na. Mayor pa siya ngayon?
Hindi na. Tanda na. Naalala mo yung chismis dati na si Erap when he was still mayor before the elections. Pag mayroon daw bibisita sa kanya, titingnan niya lang daw yan. Tapos sasabihin niya, kilala ko, kakampi ko ba yan? Kailangan magpakita nung bisita niya ng picture na magpapatunay na magkaibigan sila para maalala niya.
Sino yan, si Arab?
Daw, on his last days in office. Kaya sabi yan sa mga balibalita. Pero I don't think that is a disadvantage kung ang pag-uusapan na naman ay leadership, tama ba? Torne? Sabi nga dun sa aking binabasa kanina, the king is supposed to know no one. Because he represents everyone and he is supposed to know no one. Di ba? Yun yung pagiging hari as the wielder of the power of the state. Dawak, Pangasinan. Habang nag-arrange ng files. Bakit ka mag-arrange ng files at this late? Meron kang ginagawang
baka magtuturo yan, nag-module.
Kaya nga, may kaso ka, na papailan mo ng pleading. Uso pa ba yung module? Uso pa ba modules? O face-to-face na?
Meron pa modules. Hindi pa lahat face-to-face.
Security sa past event, evicting someone, kaya lax yung security dahil tinawag na human rights violation. Pero alam mo yung unfortunate dito kasi umalis siya dun sa unexpectedly and out of schedule. Yung paglabas niya dun sa stage kasi sumakit yung tiyan. Kaya ayun, opportunity. Ano ba yung tawag dun? Yung
coincidence?
Hindi, yung opportunity lang talaga yung
motive and opportunity equals murder.
Yes. Yung tayo mag face to face, Sir JP. Saan tayo mag face to face? Rocky, Wambangko, klase o watching while namilo. Ayan, namilo, taga Cebu o taga Samani. Si Esperanza, taga Cebu. Khan. Uy, meron pala tayong mga Khan dito. Genghis Khan. Ano naman si Genghis at saka si Kublai. Tony, meron pa ba tayong picture dyan? Wala na.
Meron pa.
Walang picture yung isang pinadala ko dyan Pero, ano yan
Ito.
Kontrobersiya yan Ano mo? Ano ba nung nangyayari dyan?
Hindi. Anong nangyari dyan?
So, there are two nuns and they're part of a group of 18 parang mga religious women who are working in Nicaragua. Two of them happens to be Filipinos, kaya napunta siya dito sa balita natin. But apparently, in Nicaragua, the president there has been in direct attack mode against the Catholic Church. And hindi lang yung simpleng yung mga ganito kagaya nung yung kay Digong na dineport niya yung isang madre. Ito as in nag-break siya ng diplomatic ties pala with Vatican noong 2020, something like that. Sunod-sunod, no? So the president there has been on this route for a few years now, and this is now the latest. And hindi lang yan, may mga incident pa na naka-report pa lang. So I was reading back on yung mga related dito, mga 200 acts of violence against the church in last year lang, parang ganun. So ang dito is, don't you think this kind of senseless infringement of that separation of the church and state will be justified somewhere in the future if the notion that a church is violating or has violated so many rights or so many people's lives in the past. Kasi curiously, I tried to read back kasi I'm not so familiar with the history of Nicaragua, but they also shared our Spanish past. But they
Yes.
received their independence earlier kasi yung napasama to sila sa mga giyera ni
Ni,
Simon Bolivar.
oh.
Okay? So si Simon
At saka
Bolivar,
ginamit dito sila nung yung laro-larong giyera ng Amerika doon, yung CIA, yung Sandinista at saka yung Contra.
correct. In fact, you will see that ako kasi I have you watched that if any one of you has watched that in Netflix, I think yung series about Simon Bolivar, you will see a lot of learnings there about revolution. Ang haba nung maraming episodes. So how he started as a young man, anak ng isang Kriole na asyendero, how he lost his wife. So yung buong storya ng buhay ni Simon Bolivar. So kung wala kang magagawa, that is a nice movie to watch. And it's in Netflix, I think, Simon Bolivar. Okay? Doon ko ata yun napanood. Marami nga lang talaga. So, in that entire story of how Simon Bolivar led not only his country, Mike, okay, not only his country sa Colombia ata to si Simon Bolivar. Colombia ba? O Venezuela? Venezuela. Okay? So he started the revolution in his country and then he ended up fighting for the freedom of almost the entire South America.
South America, yeah.
Yes. And nowhere in that story will you hear them cry about any abuses of the church. In fact, lagi silang tinutulungan ng mga pare.
Yung mga Jesuits doon.
When they cross mountains, ganyan, yung mga churches provided them shelter. And also in this story of Nicaragua, I reviewed, I don't see any involvement of the church in their revolution as part of their complaints.
Walang kinalaman.
In fact, the only time they got involved into the politics was in the 80s ng mga Sandinista na sinasabi mo, Tony.
Kasi tinulungan yung mga komunista doon, yung Sandinista, yun yung mga komunista, yung Contra, yun yung mga pakawala ng mga kano ng CIA. Pinagsabong-sabong silang pare-parehong mga taga Nicaragua. Ang tumutulong nga sa kanila ng mga Jesuits. Sa South America, sila na-invento yung liberation theology.
Kaya nga, so nung yung mga Katoliko diyan na the leadership ng Nicaragua ay na-involved. Hindi naman siguro yung mga bishop but most of the priests na inculcate sa Marxist strategies or Marxist beliefs, and they ended up getting involved in governance and nakipag-away na itong mga pare din sa kanila sariling simbahan afterwards. So years after, bago na to si yung presidente nila, si Ortega. Ortega ba? Tama ba ako? So now, he is in a dictatorship. Ang kanyang vice president ay yung kanyang asawa. And nagkaroon na sila ng nagkaroon na sila ng election last year. Yeah, last year nagkaroon sila ng election. And sabi ng karamihan, it was riddled with fraud. And it appears to be na talaga nitong presidente na to, napaka-delikado kasi yung archbishop doon na maingay din, alam mo kung sino nagpaalis sa kanya doon? Hindi yung presidente. Hindi rin yung mga madre ang nagpaalis sa kanya sa Argentina, ay si Pope Francis mismo.
Hindi. Tama.
So pinalis siya mismo ni Pope Francis na parang alis ka muna dyan. After yung nuncio ng Vatican ay pinaalis din ng presidente doon. He broke diplomatic ties and now in this case, you will see a government attacking a church. Now, this is actually not new to history because you've seen this happen in the ancient times. Tama ba ako, attorney, no? Ancient to ng mga paggawain.
Medieval.
Yung Romans, pinagsusunog nila yung mga Kristiyano, di ba? But in the modern times, there is always that concept of separation of church and state, which means, attorney, ano ibig sabihin yan para sa ating mga kaibigan?
Ano nga?
Ano ba? Sapat talaga nyo ba yung si Daniel Ortega back na infiltrate ng CIA ang order ni Mother Teresa kaya in-expel sila. In fact yung isang congregation ng mga madre, yung kina Mother Teresa, this was last year, hindi itong grupo na to, that was earlier. Alam mo, tinanggalan sila ng parang permit kasi daw na-violate nila yung mga rules, anti-terrorism rules. Mga madre ni Mother Teresa, terorista.
Oo, pero yung isang madre dito na sumasali sa yung foreign American yata yun, na sumasali sa NPA, yung kumakampi sa NPA, hindi naman niya natin tinawag niya terorista at hindi siya dinesignate na terorista.
But, no. Ganito yung ko doon. This is so different because that situation is directed at an individual foreigner. It just so happened that she is a nun. Di ba? Mm-hmm. Being a nun doesn't give her any excuse to do unlawful, not necessarily unlawful, but unacceptable political activities. Di ba? Mm. Kasi hindi naman illegal ang mag-rally. Pero kung kayo mga foreigner magra-rally kayo dito sa Pilipinas laban sa gobyerno namin.
Illegal yan.
Di ba? Hindi wala ka namang karapatan mga foreigner na So, kahit mag-isa ka lang diyan, na foreigner, nakikisaw-saw ka, nakikisali ka sa mga DG, di ba? You're doing some organizing of ma-red tagging tayo nito di ba? Yung suspicious organizations, di ba? Then, the government has the valid authority na, palagay ko lang valid yun, which is so different from this one kasi itong kina Nicaragua, it is really deliberate and really targeted. No? Baka may makuha kang picture dyan, attorney, na medyo ma-picture naman natin yung Nicaragua. Where is this place? This is in South America, but I really hear about this place only during Miss Universe. Nicaragua!
Ako rin. Miss Universe lang din.
Other than that, same historian suggests, Ignatius Loyola demonized Machiavelli's thoughts and observations. Also, it is true Jesuits were direct reason of schism in Eastern Europe, ergo Orthodox. Schism? What schism? The schism happened long, so much earlier. Ha?
Kaya nga, pero marami mong system marami mong system.
Med, sira na naman yung audio mo. Nag-ano ka na naman, yung sinasabi ko sa'yo kanina na yung nag-testing tayo, yung nag-resample.
Patay tayo dyan, wala ako.
Patay tayo dyan.
Kasi pag pinatay ko ito, papul to.
Okay, anyway, we're almost an hour naman, so okay, nasira yung audio ng ating subukan mo nun, naka-mic ka ba? Can you remove it? Hello? Tingnan niya sinasabi ng mga liberation theology na si Jesus daw komunista. Alam nyo, kung si Jesus ay komunista, so si Marx ay peke. Kung si Marx ay peke yung kanilang pinaglalaban. Ganun lang yun. No? Miss, tama ba yun, attorney? Kung si Jesus pala ay komunista, therefore, nauna si Jesus, so yung buong konsepto ay peke. Dahil peke, yung kanilang pinaglalaban peke. Okay.
Hindi, kasi
Okay.
nung panahon ni Jesus, wala pang communism. Wala pa yung si Marx came so much later.
Okay. Ganito yung mas mahalagang dichotomy. Sa panahon ni Jesus, walang konsepto ng popular sovereignty. Sa panahon ni Jesus, the
Mm.
only kind of governance or government authority emanates from a king. Okay, do you know
Mm.
that it is kumbaga, ano to, social, kung sa evolution natin yan ng tao, yun yung pag-grow ng kamay out of wings. Ha? Sipin mo yung evolution from birds to yung pag-grow ng wings na maging kamay, ganyan ka accidental yung maisip ng mga tao na yung authority ng hari ay kaya nating i, i the oneness can be shared by the many, and the many will return to oneness. Yan yung yan yung philosophy diyan. The oneness into many and the many returning back to oneness. That concept ay napakahirap niyan, una maisip, pangalawa maipalaganap, because yung tao, normal tendency is to get a king. Isipin mo, Spain na lang na Spain. During the time that they were colonizing us in the middle of 1820s, in the 1820s. Nawalan sila ng hari, and their parliament cannot move. They had to look for a king, any king for that matter, or any prince. And if you will also read the history of one of those countries in South America, yun yung isang kinagagalit ni Bolivar. Kasi pagkatapos nilang i-free yung isang territory na hindi naman nila balak sakupin, but tinulungan lang nila yung kanilang kapitbahay na mapaalis yung gobyerno ng Kastila. Nagalit siya kasi ang binabalak ng mga tao doon ay magtayo ng gobyerno, pero maghahanap sila ng prinsipe galing sa Europa para gawin nilang hari. So the concept that people can be confident enough to agree that they will have a government run by the people through elections, through the sovereignty that we now enjoy, those were concepts that were not even capable of forming in one person's mind or in a society's mind. Magandang dyan is you read St. Augustine, tama? Tama ba?
Naririnig mo na ako?
Ayan, may better na
Naririnig mo
yung
na
audio
ako?
mo. St. Augustine, ikaw
Okay.
expert ka ni St. Augustine eh.
Hindi ako expert kay St. Augustine.
But,
Expert ako
sige.
sa buhay niya before he became a saint.
Tell us about it. Adjudato mo yan? Adjudato.
Si Adiodato ang anak niya. Ito si St. Augustine, bago siya naging nagbago at nasaniban siya ng Espiritu Santo at nag-aral ng husto at naging father of the church.
Mhm.
Ay napakamanyak itong taong to. Napakamanyak, lasengo,
Pornhub.
Pornhub yun. Meron pa siyang illegitimate child na si Adiodatus, ang pangalan. Oo, namatay yata yun eh. I forget na what happened.
Pinangalan niya, Adiodatus.
Dato.
Adeo comes from God. A
Yes.
gift from God. Sabi niya, yung anak niya is a gift from God. But he was a pagan to begin with. He was not a Catholic pero he was a late
convert.
Late convert. Yeah. Pluribus unum. Ano yun?
Out of many, one.
Out of many, one. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Uno. Yeah.
That is the concept. That from one, can devolve to many, and from the many it will go back to one. So that is the political concept of popular democracy, and that transition takes a lot of years of evolution and a lot of intellectual a lot of neurons to be burned.
Hmm.
So, watching po from UAE, hello sa inyo lahat. Central America, capital city is Managua. Okay, Nicaragua is the largest country. Oh, you see? In Central America, largest country, ano bang ginagawa dyan?
Metro America ang tawag na. Metro America, Middle America.
Yes.
Kasama dyan, Cuba, yan, Nicaragua,
Pero magaganda yung mga
El Salvador. Yan,
yung mga kandidato sa Miss Universe.
magaganda yan sila.
Nicaragua!
Hmm.
Okay. So, ano bang magandang ano natin ito? Kumanda na yung boses mo.
Kumanta na lang tayo.
Kumanta. Ikaw, simulan mo.
Bawal na gamot. Yun yung gusto kong, paborito kong kanta yung bawal na gamot. Wag na.
Ganda gabi, watching from HP.
Huwag na lang tayo kumanta.
Kung basta kaya nilang sumabay, paano kaya natin yung magagawa na mapapagsalita sila? Gusto ko yun eh. Yung audience natin, yung may way sana tayo na, alam mo yun, makapagtanong sila.
Kung meron tayong extra pa na guest, so pag phone in yan sila sa, siguro sa Zoom, kung halimbawa merong, I don't know, ano yung criterion, para mapili na siya yung pwedeng magsalita. Diba? We will think about that.
Dapat maganda.
Maganda. O di kaya
tapos, papadala ng stars.
O malusog, ganyan, para wag yung masyadong payat. Malusog ang nalalaki.
Di ba? Tignan mo, si Tatiana, very, very interested. Gusto niya yung, kasi maganda yung ito ni, sasalita sila, magtatanong sila, or alam mo yun?
Yeah.
Live, and then,
Pwede
we will tackle the concern, the issue.
Of course.
So, Nicaragua is the next hotspot. Part 2 ito sa Cuban crisis. What Cuban crisis? The old one, may bago ba? Because the Cuban crisis is yung, di ba? Panahon pa ni Kennedy? Or nagkaroon pa ng bagong Cuban crisis?
May bago ngayon. I think,
about
yung parang,
economy.
Yeah.
Yung economy.
Parang meron silang tinigil yata. I think it's Russia or something. They stopped the whatever.
Supply of whatever. Ayun. So, akala ko...
Yung musikerong Panday, kakanta daw siya. Singer kasi.
Kaya nga dapat makasabay sila. Gusto ko yun, kung kakanta sila.
Yeah, we will make them sing. We will make them sing.
Kasi yung Pilipino, description sa atin, we are very, very jolly lot of natives. Pag nagbasa ka ng mga description ng mga travelers. No. Yung mga travelers during the Spanish times. None of the travelogues and the visitors na dumaan dito sa Pilipinas before the Americans came ever said that pangit ang Pilipinas, nabobo ang mga Pilipino, na wala tayong pinag-aralan. No, everyone of them was in awe wherever they go. Napakagaling, civilized na mga Pilipino. Kaya magtataka ka, nung pagdating ng mga Amerikano, bakit tayo naging bobolit at bumalik sa pagiging matching sa kanilang paningin? So, antabayan na natin yung mga bagay-bagay na yan because yan ay mahalaga. Importanteng mahalagang mapag-usapan. Kasi,
meron pa palang update lang. Meron pa palang mga kaso na na-dismiss. Yung mga kaso na pinalima ni Raisa Robles against Larry Gadon.
On libel?
Hindi yun libel. I think it's something to do with harassment or something like that. I don't remember right now. Natalo. Final niya kay parang sa yata yun, sa preliminary investigation stage pa lang yata yun. Let's clarify that when I get to see the news. Siguro tomorrow natin gawin yan.
Okay.
Pero sigurado yan kasi si Raisa Robles mismo ang nag-post na natalo siya.
Wala ba yung isa kung yung pinadala sa yung picture na good news? Kulang ba yung pinadala ko?
Good news.
May pinadala
Kulang,
kong good news yan eh. Ha?
Kulang na. Kulang.
Wala. Wait
Apat lang to.
Yeah. Wait lang. Sige, magsalita ka muna kasi may pang-5 yun.
Abakada.
Saan lang galing yung abakada mo?
Sa alphabet.
Sigurado ka?
Alphabet. Sa Safe Spaces Act pala, tama. Safe Spaces Act. Yung kinasa ni Raisa Robles.
Aha.
Na natalo din siya. Natalo.
Inano siya? Kumbaga, niya siya?
I don't want to speculate about that.
Wala. Where is it? Wait lang forgive me. Kulang.
Galit na galit daw si komentarista sa Amerika.
Sino?
Si komentarista.
Galit ka sa Amerika? Bakit?
Nakakagalit lang talaga yung kano. Pero kaso lang, wala tayong magagawa eh. Ang tataba pa nila. Loko lang. Loko lang.
Nabasa ko pala yan tungkol sa taba. Sabi ng quartermaster, ano ba yung tawag din? Quartermaster, di ba? Yung in charge sa mga damit, ganun. So, in 1901, sa report ng quartermaster ng US military dito sa Pilipinas.
Salamat, Jeremy.
Sabi niya, sa Amerika, sabi niya na sa susunod, pag nagpadala kayo ng mga uniform dito sa Pilipinas, bawasan niyo yung mga size kasi ang normal nating size dyan sa Amerika na 36 ang size ng bewang, in 6 months nagiging 32 dito sa Pilipinas. Ha? Ayaw nyo nun maging Pilipino? Hindi, sabi yan dun sa na yung size na 36 na pinapadala nyo dito, 32 ang kailangan namin. Kasi pag alis nila dyan sa Amerika, 36 pa sila. Pagdating dito after 6 months, 32 na lang. So, yung uniform nila, pag pinalitan mo, 36 yan dati, 32 na lang yan ngayon. Kasi, tayo ay mga nasa mainit na lugar.
Taylor.
Nalulusaw yung ating mga tabachings.
Mga taba. Mga taba.
Kaya yung mga pamag-anak natin nasa US, hi sa inyong lahat. Yung tumawag sa akin kanina, si Brother Jules, yung ating binabati kanina. Ang taba. Brother Jules, magpapayat ka naman. Hindi, pero
biro lang.
Biro lang. Pero ganun talaga. Ang buhay pag malamig, tapos maraming pagkain.
Ang daming pagkain kasi yung serving nila, ang dami eh. Diba? At saka yung beer. Mura. Tama ba? 50 yan mo si Kairong Panday, 50 yan. Binawasan niya ng 2 as some kind of transfer fee or something. Yung nangyari 48 na lang.
Ayun po. Diba yan? So,
yeah. Maraming salamat po sa super sticker na si Jeremy.
Shalalo. Ay, yung aking pala mga kaklase na nakikinig mula sa high school or mga eskwela na sa inyo lahat.
Si Demostinesa Pagal, watching from Salinas, California. Keep up the good work, Ate Trixie. Si Atty. Trixie tulog na po. Galing kami sa meeting kanina with
yung babaeng laging inaatake. Di ba, natatawa ko dun sa pinost mo. Ikaw ba nag-post nun? Yung clip?
Alin doon?
Tawa talaga ako ng tawa. Yung pinost dun sa Luminous group na yung clip na yung interview ni Trixie dun sa sa reporter. Yung reporter na nag-interview kay Trixie.
Shout out daw kay Celseya.
Siya naman yung namimili doon sa issue, tapos sasabihin man, don't you think this is not it's a bad time? Di ba?
Bakit ini-insist niya na it's the right time? Hindi, wala nang comment sa Trixie whether na it's the right time for you. Yung babae ba yun yung nagtanong?
Babae. Sometimes
Parang
din kasi,
lutang din eh.
sa amin sa probinsya, nung ako'y baguhan sa media, meron yan talagang laging usap-usapan na yung kami-kami na ng mga nasa media lang, walang iba. Pero babanggitin ko na rin yun. May isa na parang palpak talaga. Kahit na magkakaibigan kasi lahat ng tao sa media. Kahit na magkakaaway yan sa labas, nagiinuman yan sa gabi. Okay, so nagkikita-kita kami ganyan. Tapos pag meron isang pumalpak for the day or whatever.
Kantsawan.
Ayan, kantsawan yan. Kasi yan, inutusan lang yan bumili ng suka eh. Nakapulot ng radyo, pag tayo, reporter na. Yun.
Ayos.
Wala, hindi ko mahanap, hindi ko na-picturean. But anyway, the good news was oil price hike next week. Oil price rollback next week daw. 5 piso para sa gasolina. Ayun. 5 piso para sa gasolina at saka 6 sa diesel. Ay, nako mga kabaw.
Mas mahal na ngayon ng diesel, di ba?
Ha?
Mas mahal na ngayon ng diesel.
In some stations. Kasi bakit nga ba ganyan yan? Ano ba nangyayari dyan sa diesel na yan?
Di ba yung diesel is closer to the bunker fuel than is gasoline? Di ba? Yung pag-process niya.
Yes. So it should come out cheaper, tama?
Diba? It should be cheaper. Kasi mas maliit na yung processing expense niya. Diba? Pero bakit mas mahal ang diesel?
Sa ibang bansa, mas mahal talaga ang diesel kasi it is being taxed. So it's a regulatory machinery or regulatory scheme so that users of this more pollutive na fuel will be able to bear the cost of the environmental damage.
So ano pala to? Carbon penalty.
Yes, it is a form of regulatory measure for environmental So naka-allocate yan sa ibang mga bansa na from this tax, meron tayong certain na goes to environmental
naghahanap to ng sakit sa katawan, no?
Sino eh? Hello po, sila. Good evening, attorney. Sino?
Yan, no?
Kantahan na po.
Oo, naghahamon. Akala mo hindi kami papatol sa'yo?
Siyempre.
Kantahan kita ng dyan eh.
Teka, narinig mo.
Nagang puso. Parang
narinig nyo na ba kami ni Atty. Ahmed na kumanta?
Hindi pa, siyempre. Kakantahan ko yan sila ng Remember Me.
Wala pa. Gawin natin yung isang araw next week. No?
Ikaw lang kumanta sa'yo. Manonood lang ako sa'yo.
Sama natin si Ed.
Manood na lang ako sa'yo.
Set up tayo ng video, okay?
Pero ito si Maria Ligaya, pag nauwi ka dito sa Pilipinas, sige, maghamon ka uli.
Nasaan ba siya? Nasaan ba si Maria Ligaya?
Ewan ko kung nasaan yan siya, pero ang lakas ng loob parang sino ba to?
Di ba dati, kaya gusto natin na diesel ang gamitin? Yes. So it's cheaper to produce, but in other places, it is being penalized with more taxes. Pero itong nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas, is this a tax
I don't see that. It's not a carbon penalty.
Wala tayong dinagdag na ganyan sa diesel, di ba?
Baka laro lang ng mga baka hoard yung mga gasolina.
Oo.
Or something.
Pag taga Mindanao, magagandang boses. Of course. That is anong tawag doon? Hasty generalization.
Hasty generalization.
That is what you call hasty generalization. Pero maganda yung boses namin na yun. Hey, in Socor, diesel price has also gone up because of the law of supply. It's now...
The law of supply lang, walang demand.
Wala demand. Limited ang demand.
Limited.
Because of hype.
Maraming salamat kay Annalisa na siyang nagpadala
Yes,
naman ng super sticker na nito.
Yep. Hong Kong.
Apir. Maraming salamat po.
Hong Kong. Is it Hong Kong? Yeah.
Hong Kong. Binawasan ng Facebook pa siya, YouTube ng $2.
Itong ating DOE, hindi ko maintindihan. Sabi niya may price monitoring daw siya. Pero, grabe, hindi ko maintindihan. Dami sinabi.
Bakit mo hindi? Anong hindi mo naintindihan doon?
Price monitor, hindi mo makikita. Price monitoring daw ng DOE. Tapos, ang dami sinabi. Sana nilagay na lang niya yung presyo.
Baka ang journalist ang may problema doon, sir.
Hindi.
Ano ba qualifications ng journalist kasi? Journalist. Ang gumawa niyan.
Hindi, DOE ito eh.
Magagaling daw yung mga tao dyan
Sa DOE? Hindi, tao to ni
DOE.
Meron na bang bagong sekretary to? Tao to ni Kusi. Kusion.
Pero papalitan man yun. Tapos na yung term niya.
Kusion ako ni si Kusi eh. Namig siya Kusion. Pero magaling yan si Kusi. Nung nasa MIAA pa yan, talagang nakita ko yan.
Sheila.
Hi Sheila.
Ay, maraming salamat po, Sheila.
Taga saan ang mga abahero? Ano ibig sabihin taga saan ang bakit used to? Ngayon, marami ka pa rin dapat matututunan doon na sino to? Si Pam? Alam nyo kasi, hindi ako nagsusulat ng araw-araw. Minsan marami. Depende kasi yan sa dating ng Holy Spirit. Pero hindi ako nagsusulat ng kung ano-ano na lang na kung ano yung pinag-aawayan dyan sa internet. Nagbabasa na ako ng gano'n. Wala tayo.
Ginoo ko. Kani man din si Sheila, tagalupon man na oriental man pisti. Taga-oriental, last Dubai naglaglag.
Yan kasi mga apelido, mga ganyan, abahero, mga ganyan. Mga dyan yung sa Davao eh. Gano'n.
Ano grada nga may pagkaigaton pag gamay na para sa nato, no?
Mga good. Kay Coleman, siya man. Humot. Good morning. Si Jeddah. Okay, ang Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, ay may hari pa sila dyan hanggang ngayon. Di ba?
Yeah.
May separation of the church and state ba dyan sa Saudi? Pakisagot nga ako, friend from Jeddah. Kasi, di ba, yung iba na kung makapagsalita na para bang as if mortal sin ang magkaroon ng konti man lang political voice ang isang simbahan. Not just a Catholic Church, but a church na hindi siya pwede makisawsaw dahil sa separation of the church and state. Para bang mortal sin. Sige nga, si friend from Jeddah, meron man separation of the church and state dyan? Or may mga taga-UAE tayong nakikinig, friends from UAE and Jeddah. Is there a separation of church and state in your countries where you are in right now?
Yeah, is there? Tanungin natin si Sheila.
Hintayin natin yung mga
Bantog natin si Sheila, kay kilala man din niya kung
navigation.
Ilan Ginoo ko. Bantog, apir sa.
Hosting from France. Watching from France pala. Si France, kailan ba nag-separate ang church and state sa France?
Kailan ba?
Alam niyo ba kung ano ang kasaysayan ng France about the church na bumili sila ng Santo Papa? At sinunog nila si Jacques de Molay. Hindi. Yeah. So, may sagot na ba? Ilan ba nababa?
Ayan, ang king ba? Tinatanong mo?
No, we are asking anyone from the Middle East if there is such a thing called separation of church and state in your places now in the Middle East, no? Ano yung sabi? Wala po yata. Intricately intertwined ang politics and religion. You see? Sino to? Si Cruz Tamayo. What does Qatar have in your country? Alam ko si Qatar medyo konting may konting liberality dito dahil wala tong hari. Si Qatar may prince lang ata to. Sangyaw. Good evening po, watching live from YouTube, Smith, USA, Texas. Kayo, may separation of the church and state kayo dyan sa Texas? Joke lang.
Sabi ni Beck, watching from UAE, hindi po nakikialam ng church sa government or state.
Ito, sa Arab countries, wala pong separation ng church and state kasi bawal kumain ng baboy, etc. So, hindi lang yun. No? So, yung laws, some of your civil laws are based on the Quran, and some of these countries are really imposing restrictions based on religion. Now, sa ating na mga nasa Christian world and democratic no. Sige nga, magtatanong ako sa mga who is from London? Where's our friend from London there? Is there a separation of church and state in Great Britain?
Meron din.
Meron?
Meron din siguro yan.
In Great Britain?
Hindi. Ibig sabihin in principle because yung kanilang head of church
and the head of
is
the church
queen.
Is the queen and the sovereign is the queen. Is there
Tapos yung pinaka-bossing din doon sa parliament ay queen din.
Yeah, and representative na lang yung prime minister. Okay? There is no separation of church and state there.
Not in appearance, but in principle, hindi sila nangyayari.
In other words, there is really no disadvantage for a church or for a state to come together. Okay, it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of media influence. Kung paano kayo saan ka napunta, saan dining ng pag-iisip ka napunta, because ideally, kung titingnan mo yan sa apples to apples, there's nothing more superior with one over the other.
Wala naman din.
Wala siyang inherent structural or organizational advantage or disadvantage over the other. In fact, as long as wala lang persecution na nangyayari on other religions, ang konsepto kasi is like this. The government, the purpose of a government is to oversee the peaceful living and employment and enjoyment of people's productive capacities. Tama ba ako, attorney, ano? No, yung makapamuhay ka ng matiwasay na hindi ka mamamatay dahil lang nainggit sa'yo yung kapitbahay mo. Di ba? Ang function ng gobyerno is to make you a productive person. Everyone a productive person. And to be able to do that, you put laws, you put systems to put these things in order. And having a partner like a church to infuse the moral structure of your society. And in the olden times, they also used the church to concentrate in the education of the children. Di ba? So pag pinagsama mo yun sa isang institusyon na magkasundo, di ba ideally, they all come together?
Of course.
So, ang hari sa Saudi Arabia ay custodian po ng Holy Mosque. Yeah. So, in fact, the most basic na makikita natin na setup sa mga palabas. Di ba? Yung mga tribal na mga leader, kahit na sa fiction. Di ba? Nakikita natin meron siyang religious and political clout. Mayans, the lost civilizations of South America. Their leaders were usually either both or they were jointly ruling with the religious ruler. Sa Pilipinas, yung Babaylan, attorney, ano ba yun? Babaylan natin. Ano bang alam natin dito sa Pilipinas? Meron ba tayong...
Teka lang. May nag-text sa akin.
Meron ba tayong alam na kultura dito sa Pilipinas? Like, sige, sa mga igorot, sino ba nakakapunta ng norte? Meron
yata
silang
siguro
religious
dito.
leaders doon. Meron silang religious leaders doon like in Sagada, di ba? Meron sila yung Dapay. Ano yung Dapay? Yung parang mga bato doon na bilog-bilog sa Sagada sa mga bawat sityo. Bawat Dapay is a small council of neighbors na doon sila magmi-meeting. May religious ba sila na aspect na pinatay ata yung religious nila practices?
Alin nang?
Ng mga taga-Sagada. Ano ba to sila? Igorot yan sila eh.
Meron na rin silang religious practices yung kanilang
So hindi sila pinigilan ng mga
hindi.
Hindi naman sila naakyat doon ng kahit sino, di ba? So they
Ang Sagada hindi, pero ang Baguio was home for
Americanized. But the Americans didn't stop indigenous
No,
people
they didn't.
From practicing their religion. So they just stopped the Catholic faith from practicing their religion here in the Philippines.
Discrimination.
Yes. Issue yan na tinago-tago nila ng matagal. And
Ito kasi mga protestante kasi karamihan sa kanila.
But their constitution says, di ba? Separation of the church and state, non-establishment. Actually, protection yung separation of the church and state, mga friends, no? It doesn't give any right to the state to destroy a church. So, balikan natin si Nicaragua. This is something new. This is really something new, and I do not know what the international repercussions of these actions will be. Kasi barbaric to na gawain eh. No? By any standards sa ngayong panahon, kahit na Muslim hindi nila to ginagawa, kahit na Buddhist hindi nila to ginagawa. Yung alam ko yung Pakistan at saka India magkaawayan sila because one is Buddhist, one is Islam. Pero they do not even brand their wars as religious wars, tama?
Yung war naman nila dyan is territorial eh. Territorial.
Yes, and they really identify their issues as territorial, pero alam natin yung kanilang away is religious. Di ba? Pero officially, they do not want to make that appear because barbaric eh. Yung maghanap ka ng mga mga ka na religion. May buntag. Religious leader. O igat. Igorot?
Igorot. Mambunong.
Opo, tawag sa religious leader ng Igorot. So usually, ang naalala ko kasi yung isang bata na anak ng isang tribal leader dun sa Sagada na naging host namin nun. So in-explain niya yung concept ng Dapay. Kasi yung tatay niya is the leader there. So makikita mo na in that group, they meet with their parang taga-dasal for their group, and then there is one who is parang executive on that group. So they always go hand in hand even in our cultural setup. The religious and political head. Pero yung babaylan yung hindi ko alam ko yung babaylan talaga. Sila din yung leaders eh.
Hindi. Ang babaylan are just the priestess. Okay. Kasi usually mga babae yan eh. Dito sa Manila, merong tinawag na binabae na baylan din. Baylangit. Mga bading naman yun sila.
Dun sa UP yun? Sa UP?
Hindi. Iba yung sa UP. Meron din talaga dito traditionally before the Spaniard. Meron tayong mga binabae na tinatawag. Mga baylanes din sila.
Pero wala silang
executive powers. Religious lang talaga sila. Ritualistic.
Mambunong is the one who perform rituals where there is a ceremony. Ayun. Tama si Sir. Religious territorial same sa Israel. Sa Israel yun, yun. Yan ang isang tingnan mo yan, yung away ng mga Palestinian dyan at saka Israeli. So that's Islam and Judaism. No? They try to avoid branding their fight to be about their religion. Tama ba?
Yung sa Iraq, halimbawa, yung giyera nila with with yung maliliit na countries around Iraq is about the Sunni and the Shiite. Parehong Muslim.
Watching from Turks. Where is Kaikas Island? Kaikas.
Caicos.
Caicos Island.
Oo.
Okay. So, yung Turkey, yan, paborito ko dyan si Ertugrul.
Sina si?
Si Ertugrul, lolo ni...
Ertugrul,
lolo ni...
Mehmet.
Sultan Mehmet.
Mehmet.
Galing. So, Catholicism is also ritualistic. Almost all religions are ritualistic. Because ritual...
Ang sinabi ni Ray Makuha, ang babaylan in Southern Tagalog sa pagan priest. Priestess or medium. Hindi lahat ng babaylan ay babae, Shero. Meron ding mga binabae.
So, pwedeng girl lalo.
Babae or girl lalo.
Separate church and state here in Ireland because you don't have a allegiance to the Queen. Or Ireland. Scotland pala siya.
Ireland, under the UK yan UK.
Yeah, but si Scotland, si Queen Mary, right? Queen Mary of Scots. Catholic.
Yung pinsan ni Elizabeth.
While si Elizabeth is Protestant. Okay.
Grabe din magyera yung dalawang yan.
Pugutan.
Si Bloody Mary.
Okay, separation of state and church. Wala na rin batikos against government. Okay. Yan tungkol sa batikos, even in the US, you will see Baptist and any kind of religious leader running for political positions and religions strongly advocating for any political or even legislative questions. What is the concept there? Bawat isang miyembro dyan sa simbahan na yan are citizens.
Yep.
And you cannot tell them to shut up because they are also citizens.
Yep.
And when they speak about social matters, even as leaders of a church, it is not a violation of any of the churches, of the state's rights. Churches have a right to petition against the state. Because the separation of the church and state concept protects states against persecution from the state. Okay? Kasi ang konsepto na yan, hindi pwedeng magprotekta yung state na ito lang ang gusto ko. Ito lang relihiyon na to. Ikaw, bago kang papatayin kita, palalayasin ko kayo. Yan ang binagbabawal dyan. So, kunwari, ngayon, yung ating religions na stable, hindi siya pwedeng pakialaman kung magsasalita siya about social issues, about issues that also affect them as parts of this country. Hindi pwedeng pagtahimikin ng mga simbahan at hindi natin dapat pinapatahimik because that kind of argument is a wrong argument. Ang nag-introduce niyan si Ramos, sa totoo lang, when he was trying to silence the anti-chacha clamor when he wanted to change the constitution, or there were factions wanting to change the constitution. But walang punto yan. Namana lang natin yan kay Ramos. Sinundan naman ng mga sumunod na presidente kapag merong pinapasok na chacha, as if every church leader who speaks about religious matters is committing a mortal sin. That is not true.
Wala namang ganun. Wala namang
citizen din yan. Pareho lang
kasi
tayo.
Kahit si Augustine na City of God, the City of God, the City of Man is a reflection of the City of God. So the church also has an authority in formulation of the structures of the City of Man, diba? So
may sinasabi dito talaga. Praying daw in schools. Ano daw yung, di ba meron kayong klase niyo ba yung nagkaso niyo sa UP na kino-question yung prayer?
Si Mars Arias, hindi naman yan na.
Hindi. What is the
Ah,
rule on praying in schools?
ang bawal naman kasi sa constitution is the establishing a state religion. Okay? So wala siya dapat. So ang ibig sabihin niyan, equal protection of all religions within a state. Hindi yan siya hindi yung provision na yan is not about the separation of church and state in the running of the government and all that stuff. Hindi yan. Ano yan? Non-establishment of a state religion.
State
So
sanction.
hindi pwedeng mamili siya ng isang religion and all the rest of the religions are discriminated against. It is in effect the provision that gives equal protection to all religions within the state. So magdasal kayo dyan na problema. Sa US lang naman yung sinasabi na ano.
Kapag in cahoots ang church sa mga bad elements ng society, then that is no longer a church.
Well, even if it's still a church, the violations of those people would be as themselves, as citizens, not as members of the church.
Pero kung kunwari yung church na talaga is like we hear na merong mga usap-usapan na one major church in the Philippines is involved in money laundering. Okay? Now, we don't have proof. Pero if ever that is true, then that is not a church. Di ba? Kasi, can you imagine a church advocating for evil things? Unless ito is a church of Satan. Pero I don't
No.
even the church of Satan will
they do not commit crimes.
No,
they don't even commit crimes, and they don't like killing each other. And you see, this idea of Satanism as the opposite of Christianity is wrong. Satanism is just a religion that believes in a different God. That's all.
Pornhub.
Pornhub. Ayaw din nila yung mga Satanists. Ayaw din nila ng Pornhub, pero gusto nila na yung pleasure of living. So they can probably
coffee, Starbucks,
so much sex and all that, but not necessarily watching it on Pornhub.
Okay. Yun.
Mali pa rin sa kanila yan, yung sobrang libog mo, kamanyakan mo, ganyan. Mali pa rin sa kanila yan.
Look, but do not touch. Touch, but do
not
taste.
Katolicismo yan. Catholics yan, ganyan.
But don't swallow. Ganun ba yun?
Katoliko yan, ganyan.
Tama, walang state religion. Actually, yun yung sinasabi natin, Fe, no? It's a matter of convention, it's a matter of agreement, and there's no right and wrong. Kasi when you get to another place, and then you will see na ganun yung kanilang setup, you don't say that they're wrong. Di ba? Hindi tayo ganun eh. So when ang tawag dyan is religious tolerance. Tama ba, Atty.? Yan yung term.
Yes. Ito sinabi niya. Di ba church means people? Church meaning people is only used in the context of a church. People is people in the context of politics and law. So you cannot univocalize them. You cannot
any organization
say that they have meaning.
Sabi niya, kumbaga, association. Okay, the churches are also associations. They are organized. In fact, if you look at the Catholic Church, in business management parlance, the Catholic Church is the longest known surviving organization on earth, on human history. There is no organization that has survived longer than the Catholic Church in human history. And along that line, the Chinese civilization is the oldest known civilization on earth also. Pero
meron pa. Yung org ko, yung miyembro ako ng isang org na mas matanda pa sa Catholic Church.
Ano yun? Tawag?
KM.
Ano yun?
KM, Kabataang Manyak. May miyembro nga ako ng mga Katoliko eh. May mga miyembro din akong Katoliko, Muslim marami. KM.
Okay. So yun, they are organized. There are associations. There are associations within it. But the difference within the church and an ordinary organization is the purpose of this one is about your soul, attending to your spiritual needs, and
Mm.
your worship to your God. That is not a function of government.
Mm.
A government that goes there, ayan yung hindi government.
Mm.
Claim ng Amerika, ibang western countries na genocide daw ang ginawa ng China sa Muslim. Hindi ko
Well,
ayan.
it's probably not because they're Muslims, but because they belong to a tribe. But still, it's probably genocide. So killing a lot of people is wrong. Whether or not it's done by a church, a government, or one person, it's wrong. So if yung genocide kasi is international politics term.
But
It's just like a massacre, a mass murder. It's just the same.
is it proven? Or is this just a suspicion?
No. Ano lang yan? Propaganda din yan eh. Propaganda din yan siya.
I don't think this has been proven 100% yet. No? Pero, di ba, if this is true, then we do not like it. Pero ang tanong lang dyan, is it sanctioned by a legal authority of whoever did this? Kasi yun yung question dyan eh. States have the power to kill.
Yes.
So ano yung authority?
Okay. 2 oras na tayo, brother.
Okay, so yan. So,
bukas naman.
Mga friends natin dyan, may gandang gabi sa inyo lahat. And
maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig.
At pagpapadala ng super sticker. At saka yung pagpampasaya sa amin dahil magaganda kayong lahat, yung mga girls natin.
Yes, and boys.
At saka yung mga naghahamon ng kantahan, umuwi kayo dito. Huwag kayong lalakas loob nyo dahil ng layo nyo. Hindi, umuwi kayo dito.
Ay, which reminds me, may binuksan pala ako doon na beer. So, good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening.
Music.
Sige,
Music.
Bye. Music. Bye. Good night.